In this bulletin, 89 new cases recorded. Severe cases likely, says Dr. Sahukan. And discussion underway for Fijians to return home. And Rubinaika, Fiji. The Health Ministry has recorded 89 new COVID-19 cases yesterday, following another 2,813 tests. 2 cases are from Nosori, 1 from Samambula, and 1 from Sakova. 3 more cases are primary contacts of an earlier case, and relevant contact tracing teams are investigating to determine their link to a cluster. 1 patient admitted at the intensive care unit at CWM Hospital in Suva with severe illness has died. She tested positive for COVID-19 during her admission, but the doctors who treated her have ruled out COVID-19 as a cause of death. 82 cases are linked to the existing clusters. P.S. Dr. James Fong says most of these cases are contacts of cases they've found and from clusters they know about. He adds this is useful for containment purposes as it lets the ministry know where to target lockdowns.
If we look inside the numbers, we can give ourselves a much clearer idea of exactly what is happening. When we do, we see other factors that are a cause for some optimism over the long term.
Fiji has not seen an increase in severe cases and deaths corresponding to a spike in cases. However, it remains a possibility. Head of Health Protection Dr. Elisha Sahukan says the pandemic has affected the CWM's acute medical ward, which resulted in the death of 5 individuals. The medical ward is where the sickest are managed. Dr. Sahukan says 5 deceased persons were admitted for severe illnesses at CWM, and 1 patient from Lotoka Hospital died earlier.
So we're now at about 60 cases per day, which is, if you're looking at our population, that's about 68 per million population, which is a high number. To put that in context, neither Australia nor New Zealand got to this level of cases per day.
The Health Ministry is now considering support from Australia to prepare a contingency plan. PS for Health, Dr. James Fong says while increase in cases is expected, it is a cause for much concern. The ministry is looking to Awubale partners for help. Fijians are being warned to continue to follow COVID-safe protocols as we reach a new height in infections.
I am looking at also getting help from our partners in Australia to come and help us develop some of contingency plans that are required in case we persistently get up to 200. So I'm already planning for that phase of the...
Meanwhile, the Health Ministry is undertaking an extensive discussion with the Ministry of Transport on how to facilitate the travel of many Fijians stuck in Viti Levu. Dr. James Fong says in many instances, children have not seen their parents with wives and husbands separated. The 2 ministries will work together on how they can assist Fijians who wishes to reunite with their family outside of Viti Levu.
They want to go back home. I'm sure we all understand that. The ministry with MCTTT, Ministry of Maritime and Rural Affairs, and Ministry of Itauke Affairs have put together a number of protocols to ensure that protocols of safe travel, including a safe 14 days of quarantine, are fully adhered to.
The Health Ministry is concerned with individuals trying to undermine the confidence in the mitigation measures that have been implemented. Dr. James Fong says the measures are well documented in the public health publications and is part of the preparedness and response document developed in February last year. He says while some community leaders are taking the lead in educating the public, others are undermining their work.
And we appreciate the leaders who are using their voices to support this plan and to help it succeed. They are echoing the importance of the measures that we put in place to keep people safe. But I am worried that some are doing the opposite. They are saying that we have no plan, and that simply isn't true. Mitigation is a plan.
45 surgeries have been conducted at the FEMET Field Hospital in Ludala Bay, Suva. Chief Medical Advisor Dr. Chemesa Tunrabu says to date, more than 200 Fijians have been through the facility and 77 have been admitted since the hospital was set up earlier this month. The field hospital has been able to take up the load from the CWM hospital, which is now a dedicated COVID facility.
So they look after adults, they look after children. They take up all referrals that used to be referred to CWM Hospital. Now go through the FEMAT team.
The Permanent Secretary for Ethio-K Affairs, Melethi Bainimarama, has died. The announcement comes from the Public Service Commission that has expressed its deepest sympathy to his family. Bainimarama leaves behind a proud legacy of service to Fiji and his team at the ministry, as well as his colleagues across the government who are deeply affected by his passing. Bainimarama was appointed as a permanent secretary in 2016 and he served in this role until his passing. An acting PS for the Ethio-K Affairs Ministry will be appointed in due course. The Fiji Disabled People's Federation is working towards addressing challenges faced by its members during this COVID-19 pandemic. Manager Lanieta Tuimambo says through support from stakeholders, they are now providing food ration and personal protective equipment to members. The Federation says the challenges include access to services.
In terms of movement, there's still a lot of fear with us, because we also need to travel with our support persons, our personal assistants, our carers, and with the restrictions of movement, we have to really make good decisions on what time to access the supermarkets, even to get medicine from the pharmacies.
Up ahead, another overseas player interested in Rua. And student football are grateful for assistance. Stay with us. Welcome back. American-based rugby player Apisai Toyabudha plans to return to Fiji and don a Fijian draw jumper again for the 2022 Super Rugby campaign. The 28-year-old was part of the first draw team that featured in the NRC in 2017, where he made 4 appearances. Though his overseas rugby stint has been a success, Toyabudha still wants to represent his country. The Mambula Vivia in Lau native has confirmed his availability for the draw.
I think anything is possible right now, and I'm not saying that I'm not available, but if it happens, and then I'm more than happy to join.
Fiji Football continues its support for players affected by the second wave of COVID-19, assisting super players including young Eugenia Valentine. As Aquila Dhama reports, the University of the South Pacific student was very grateful after receiving $180 in food rations that has greatly assisted her family.
Players like Valentine rely on football as a source of income, but with all competitions halted, her opportunity to earn has been affected.
My parents are probably paying my own hostels and my school stuff and school fees, and this is a great help for me because my parents have to buy my food and pay my rent. So with this, it will take me probably a month to finish them, and it's a really good help from them, and my parents will be really proud.
Like Valentine, national rap and Suva senior player Laisenia Raura was also assisted.
Football is my source of money and livelihood. I'm very grateful because this is a major assistance for me.
This initiative is part of Fiji FA's social responsibility program.
Without those players, football does not exist. They are the major players in our game.
Nandrunga men's and women's footballers were also assisted. Aquila Dhama, FBC Sports.
Czech Republic's Patrick Schick created history by scoring the longest distance goal in the European Championships as their side walked away with a 2-0 win over Scotland this morning. Czech Republic was leading 1-0 in the second half, but it was Schick's halfway line goal has been the highlight of the game. The Black Caps head to Southampton with more history under their belt, with a bigger carrot dangling in front of them. New Zealand completed its third series win in England, but the challenge now is who to pick for the World Test Championship final against India this week. Cloudy periods with brief showers over the eastern parts and interior of Viti Levu and Wono Levu, Kandavu, Lomaiviti, as well as Taveuni. Elsewhere, mostly cloudy conditions with possible afternoon showers. That's FBC Morning News. Remember, do join us at 7 p.m. for our major bulletin. For news you can trust, get the facts from FBC's TV, radio, and digital news at fbcnews.com.fj. Take care and good morning.